Hey guys, so today I'm going to answer a burning question I get asked all the time. What is better, protein shakes or protein bars? Both of these products have absolutely exploded into the fitness mainstream media over the last few years, and I think it's safe to say that we've probably consumed quite a lot of both. A lot of my clients are always saying to me, which is the best option? I think most of us are looking for a convenient, kind of portable, but also high protein snack. Then you throw in the kind of which ones are low carb, which ones are high carb, which ones are vegan. All gets a bit messy and complicated. I'm going to run over a quick overview of protein shakes versus protein bars, and you guys can decide for yourself which is better for your goals. Now, I'm going to not touch on the vegan plant-based thing. There are plant-based and vegan versions of protein shakes and protein bars, as I'm sure you've noticed, and there are also low carb versions of each one, and like I said, it gets a bit complicated. Essentially, the protein shake was originally made out of a dairy, and then it's kind of turned into like a whey protein shake, and now we've got all these different types of certainly non-vegan protein shakes. And the idea was that the would-be bodybuilder would take their shake with the powder in the bottom, they go down the gym, they do their workout, and then you've seen them in the tap, putting the water in, shaking the shaker and then chugging down the shake as soon as they finish their workout, so that we can get into the anabolic window of opportunity and not lose any gains. I won't go into that, I'll talk about that on another video. There is no anabolic window. But basically, that's a super convenient way to get extra protein into your diet. And generally speaking, most of the protein shakes, if we're talking about whey only or protein only, they pretty much have low carbs and mostly just a handful of ingredients, some sweeteners essentially, which I'm not particularly anti-sweetener, and again that's another ranty video, but it's mostly whey protein and water or whatever milk substitute you're using. Now that's absolutely fine because it's kind of a limited number of ingredients, but maybe that's not quite such a nice thing to experience, is it, like drinking the protein shake? So along come this new world, which has been kind of spearheaded by Grenade. Obviously you've all eaten Grenade bars, carb killer, love them, spent far too much money. In fact, if you're watching, can I get shares in Grenade, please, Mr. Grenade? No? Okay, right. Yeah, so Grenade carb killers have really spearheaded the protein bar thing. I think the whole low carb obsession, but essentially what's happening is we are swapping a solid snack or meal for a liquid one, and this is where people are like, well, which one's better? Probably enjoy eating a protein bar more, but they're more expensive. I think a Grenade carb killer is around about £2, £2.50. Or do I chug down my protein shake at maybe 80 pence per serving? Well, there's one thing for you guys to consider when you're thinking about what might be better for you. Convenience is king in the world of health and fitness and life generally. So if you find it more convenient to have a protein bar in your bag and you think you're less likely to forget, or you're not going to have access to water, or you might forget, you leave your protein shake like mixed up and it sits in your car and gets rotten. If the protein bar is more convenient, then that may be the answer you need already, and you just have the protein bar. However, there are a couple of things that I would like you to consider when it comes to protein bars as an alternative to the protein shake. The standard low carb protein bar, which is what most of us are eating based on the aforementioned brand, is full of chemicals and additives. Now, I'm not particularly anti-chemical, but there are a lot of things that are inside these yummy, creamy, caramelly bars that you may not have considered, and hopefully I'm going to show some slides here. But the main ingredient in something like a carb killer that makes it taste so chewy and gooey and delicious is called a sugar alcohol, aka polyols. Now, without going into too much detail, this is a type of artificial sweetener and an artificial carbohydrate that adds a consistency to the product. So rather than your typical aspartame or acesulfame K, which you'll get in things like pre-workout drinks or Pepsi Max, which is just there to add sweetness, the polyols like maltitol and sorbitol and various other ones I can't remember, they all tend to add a creamy, sort of sticky chewiness, which is why you bite into a Grenade bar and you're like, yummy, it's better than a Mars bar. So one thing to consider is that these things can have an impact on your gut. Some people's gut handles them very, very easily, and some people's don't. They're officially part of one of the FODMAPs that you might avoid if you're on a FODMAP diet or an elimination diet. I have personally overeaten on these polyol-based bars, and had some like fairly unpleasant side effects that I probably won't mention in the video, but maybe some of you guys can resonate with this. If so, let me know in the comments below. So essentially you have a very, very synthetic product which tastes delicious, but it's quite expensive, but it's easy to eat and it's easy to have in your pocket. It's a bit like a confectionery bar, versus the boring old protein shake, which is in theory just whey. Admittedly, some of you guys will have carbs in your protein shake, but just comparing like for like here, protein versus protein. What I would say is that if you don't care about having extra chemicals in your body and you don't care about the cost, then by all means go for the protein bar and don't worry about the potential extra wind or stomach upset that you might get, especially if you eat more than one, because we've all done that, maybe 2 or 3 in one sitting. But yeah, so protein shake, the original way to get protein into your diet, probably going to be fine with your stomach. It's cheap, it's pretty convenient, it's portable. The protein bar, I'm not going to mention the brand again, but they're pretty much all the same, loaded with sugar alcohols and polyols and lots of other chemicals. So I'd suggest if you're trying to keep your diet kind of clean and chemical free, which some of us are really into, stick with the protein shake. If you don't care and you want the yummy chewy goodness and you don't mind a bit of then I think it's time to go for the protein bar. But look, I'll let you guys decide. Let me know in the comments below. I tend to eat both regularly, so I'm leaning towards protein shakes as time goes on, just because I'm with my plant-based diet recently, I'm trying to kind of move away from a lot of the kind of additives and stuff. But again, it's a personal choice. I hope I answered the question for you. Again, let me know if you have any questions and reach out anytime. Hope you enjoyed that.